agreement like that for.
No, the only thing we can do is put a weight restriction on the road if it gets bad. That's the only thing we can do. If
I
it
don't want to
gets
tell
bad.
you this, but we don't fall under agriculture.
So,
Oh, I know
Doesn't
that.
matter,
Yeah.
really.
I know, yeah.
So we're not
Which is-
technically.
Which is
right to farm.
ludicrous. Let me see, I think that's most of it. I got it back, I turned it around to him in like a couple hours from when he got it to me. But he told me when I talked to him that he could not get it done today before the select board meeting because he had meetings all afternoon. And I said, that's fine. We talked a little bit about that fee that you would have to pay if it goes beyond whatever the deadline was or is. And he said, yeah, it's not really a fee because what it does is it changes the renewal date of the agreement and they have to pay an extra month, but then it gets prorated for the next bill. So you get it back at the end of the year. It's just a cash flow question. And I said, well, you know, I want to be as gentle as I can be on the cash flow because I know that's tricky these days.
I appreciate that, but I would rather this be done.
We just want to get this done, yeah. Anyway, I told him that as soon as he gets it back to me, I will email, I'll proof it, and I will email Polly and Ben and Shannon and let them know that I have it. And we will sign it within 24 hours. I think that's fair to say, yes?
Yeah, but I thought, Ben, you said that you wanted to
Well,
make sure that
oh,
taxes were
right.
right.
are you gonna be square on your taxes for when we sign this?
Depends how quick you sign it. I'm waiting on a bunch of invoices to come in this
Right.
month, so it's a question mark, but we will be current on our taxes ASAP.
Okay.
I hate to give you a solid date on that.
Right, no, just,
Unfortunately, people don't pay us when the money's due.
Yeah,
It's a weird,
I'm in business, I know all about it.
yeah, it's a weird, and I didn't get into this to chase people for money, but I spend
You
half
still-
my time doing that right now.
Sometimes you gotta chase the people that are the best customers, so.
That's, I have friends I'm chasing for money at this point right now.
Yeah.
It's a crazy industry, that's all.
It's the same in all,
Yeah.
in retail.
So I think we did agree that we wanted to have the taxes paid before we signed the agreement.
Yeah,
Understandable.
yeah,
Okay, and then we're starting the whole agreement is on sort of a level playing field when we start.
Yes.
yeah.
And I think-
She's gotta be fair across the board.
Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable to me.
So she'll get it, the lawyer will get it all
So.
drafted up and.
Cool.
Yeah,
And I talked to Heather. She called me, I think one of you must have told her I was planning on meeting her. Next Friday, we had a 20-minute conversation on the phone 2 weeks ago. Went really well and she seems pretty happy with us too, so.
Okay,
and I read the beforehand contract and the template contract. And there isn't really much difference.
No, it's not,
How it's laid out,
yeah, it's a little more
but
legal, I guess, at this point.
well, and it's got, the previous contract did not preclude an agreement that obligated them to a charitable donation to the town. And this one does.
the new contract does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't obligate them.
Well, previous one did.
Advocates for.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
one did, this
The
one.
first one did.
Yeah,
And when I have the money available, like I am happy to make
We're
donations.
not trying to beat you up.
No, I know, and trust me, it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like you are by any means, but I do. Want to let you guys know that I do appreciate being part of the community up here, and if I had shown me, like, giving the police departments money before, just.
Yeah,
Cause they,
Yeah,
if you need them, I want them,
the
so I
best
give them,
donation would be to the fire
I
department.
gave the fire department some money before too, and gave a donation, that's Thatcher's name.
Mhm.
For when they donated it to them there.
when they set up that conference room.
So as best I can, I will continue to do that.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and in terms of the community impact fee, there was on the contract that your lawyer drafted. Two places that sort of contradicted each other. One was that it said that no community impact fee would be necessary after 8 years of being in business.
I took that out.
Okay, because the second one said after 9 years, it's the actual cannabis law that
That's a
after
function,
9
that's a
years.
function of the fact that it was a
Let me
template.
finish.
I know, I read it.
After 9 years of the final license being in place, then there's no more community impact fee. But the law does say that what they're applying for now is a final license.
I know that.
Yeah, and the
But the
final
reason-
license, there is community impact fees up until 9 years
After
from the date, and
I
then,
know.
yeah.
We have our final license already. We're
You
just
do?
applying, yeah, so that's why we're able to do business. So we're just,
It's not how I understood it when I went to the cannabis website today and looked at your application.
indoor grow is in a provisional license right now.
Okay,
Outdoor and a product manufacturing, we have final licenses.
But that's because this is for both new
when
and
did you get that?
2018.
Oh,
So
I
this,
thought that was just a preliminary license that.
So
this,
to make a sale, we have to have a final license, and we've been doing that 5 years.
so this contract was written as if it was to be a template for both first-time applications and renewal applications.
Mhm.
So it was, in the first time one, it was 8 years. And then in the renewal one, it's 9 years from when you got your final license, which is 1 year beyond the 8 that you had to have before you started actually operating. So that, I pulled that out. Or I wrote a note about it to him. There were a few other places where I asked him to do the rewording. Can the company, this one, it's a lot of logistics about who has to notify who when. And I said, can this be reworded to reflect the actual circumstances? This seems to be a one size fits all caveat. So I'm gonna leave that up to him. I think he'll do it. I corrected a few typos. I found some misspellings.
Good for you, that's impressive.
You never do well that which you never wish to do again. Unfortunately, I'm a very good proofreader. I put in email address for the municipality, selectboard@town.plainfield.ma.us. And I put Ben in as the duly authorized representative for Plainfield with his title. Those are all the changes I made for the most part, and
All reasonable things.
just in the spirit of full transparency.
Cool, any other questions? Or-
No, I'm good, and I stay in touch with you guys and make sure that we're up to snuff with Heather.
Okay,
Make sure she's happy with us.
yeah,
Okay, great.
Any questions for me?
Have you met the new tax assessor?
I have not, I did hear Gina's having her out now.
Yeah. His name is Ted. I don't remember his last name.
I haven't met him yet, so.
Ted Wesley.
Wesley, that's right.
I'll
He's
pop
one of
in.
those people has two first names.
Like me.
Holly, right?
Harry Leanne.
Yeah,
Yeah, just keep some loop and.
Yeah.
We'll wait to get the draft back or from the lawyer and. Proceed.
Well, that works for me.
Any other questions? Peter?
Yeah, this is not related to this, but I'm texting Jerry Little and he's trying to access the meeting and apparently there's no hot link on the calendar.
Well, then that must be a mistake, but it's a recurring meeting,
Right, so I
and
told him to go
so
back.
he can just go to one of the previous
That's what I'm
meetings and
telling you.
connect.
Right, okay.
and this is not related either. Shannon, will you make sure that Paula gets this? That is, whoever's doing the accounting for the ARPA funds, because that's a contract.
Well, that's on the agenda, so.
Oh, okay, sorry. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Any other questions? You're all set, Chris?
Cool, appreciate you guys again, Holly, thank you for coming down, if you guys ever wanna stop down.
Yeah, I was bummed I didn't go with her. I didn't.
I apologize for not being there today, it's like the one time I'm down volunteering, so
It was a last minute decision on my part.
Scott take good care of
Yeah.
you. Fully capable of it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
I will show her someday.
awesome. Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
You too.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Building committee, Peter Point, heat pump project discussion.
Okay, so we had our kickoff meeting with the Green Communities folks for this project. Polly was on that call. And we found out how the grant is gonna be administered. We're gonna get 25% as soon as we get our agreement settled with Western Mass Electric for our rebates. And once we spend that 25% of the grant amount, we'll get 50% to use. And we won't get the last 25% until the project is complete. So, and then the other thing is that part of how we're funding this project is with a tax rebate from the IRS. That tax rebate won't come until we file a final document at the end of the project. And it probably won't come to us for who knows how long before we'll get the actual check back into the general fund. So, and then the other thing is that since the proposal we had to secure the project was 6 months ago, and so the cost of equipment has changed, and so it's about a 5% increase in the cost of the project. So all total, that works out to be about $50,000 that we, the town, have to be able to float, of which we're probably gonna get back close to $45,000. But so we're gonna end up paying about $5,000 for the system once it's done. But we're gonna have to come up with a mechanism for us to sort of float the boat until we get all of our money back. So I just wanted to start that discussion now. I talked to Paula about it. She's telling me that in order to free up free cash, there's some additional accounting work that has to happen that they're still working on. So we're not in a position to have a special town meeting right now because that's not available. But I just wanted to put everyone on notice that we're gonna have to come up with that money. We can't spend it if we don't have it appropriated. And
The other person to involve in that conversation is Ben Gill. Because he's the one that has the relationships with all the banks, and he might have a solution in something like a short-term line of credit that would give us money to.
well, exactly, but I think that's why I'm coming to you, because it seems like that's the conversation that the select board ought to have with the treasurer, or Paul ought to have the treasurer, or somebody other than the committee members. I mean, the energy committee secured the grant. We're gonna run the project, but it seems like the financing part of it on the town side.
Well, I think that if my experience serves me well, whenever you go to financial people about needing money for something, they're gonna ask a lot of questions that are gonna go right back to the committee. So why put another link in the chain?
Well,
'Cause
I'm also happy to do that, being liaison to the
Okay.
energy committee.
and liaison to the town offices.
And to the town offices, and being, having been on this meeting and knowing the details.
Okay, I think
So maybe you and I
Polly's the
can
person.
team up and talk to
Right.
them.
so anyway, I just wanted to let you know that we have to come up with a strategy, and that's sort of the summary of where we're gonna be. In all likelihood, the longest wait time is gonna be for the federal rebate.
Right.
And we have some nervousness about whether or not that rebate program will stay in place, given the change in the administration.
Yeah,
So, that was the other conversation we had with the folks at the state level. And, that at this point, they don't have a strategy for how to deal with that, because they don't anticipate that it's gonna happen.
That is, what do you mean that it's gonna happen?
I think it's going to go
They don't
away.
That is- yeah,
anticipate,
that
they
is
don't
gonna go
anticipate
away,
any
right.
changes at this point, because it's a law, it's part of a law, it's not part of a,
Right,
it's not arbitrary or a,
It's not a policy decision, it's
Exactly.
a legislative decision.
exactly.
right.
So you have to get the Congress to agree on something. Good luck with that.
But anyway, that's sort of where we are. I just wanted to bring you up to speed and keep you in the loop so that you know.
Where are we in terms of getting bids?
So that's the next step. So we purposefully have been holding off on going out to bid because of the fact that we have this glut of oil that we purchased that we want to use in this building, so that it doesn't make sense for us to lose $800-900 worth of oil if to expedite this project, because that's just another $1,000 we're losing that we have. So in terms of the bid process, I've written an overall summary of the work. Conrad's reviewing it, comparing it to the proposal that we received, because we have to make it generic so we can get multiple bids. And the buildings committee will fund the administrative cost for PERCAR to run the bid process for us, so that it goes into the central register and we think covered that we need to cover.
Mhm.
So that'll come out of our operating account.
What do you anticipate will be the timeline for getting the bids out, like this spring or
No, it's gonna happen
sooner?
it's gonna happen sooner than that. I don't know if it'll be in December or January, but it'll be one of those 2 months. It's probably gonna be, it would be either at the earliest December, more likely January.
So the actual work would then start in the spring.
Yes, yes. I anticipate the project could probably start around the 1st of March.
And do you have any idea how long it would take to complete?
I don't, but the scope of it is pretty, they're gonna remove this and replace it with a new furnace. They're gonna drill 2 wells outside and connect the water loop from the wells to the furnace. And they have some ductwork modifications to do, because we're gonna put in some motorized dampers so that we don't heat the upstairs unless we need to. So we're gonna have a separate thermostat upstairs that opens or closes the dampers if there's a call for heat. But it will only heat if we're heating down here, so you can't, it's not gonna be an independent thermostat, it's just gonna be a slave to the system. And we have some rotted return air ductwork in the crawl space they're gonna take care of. So what the likelihood it would be in January, we'll have a day that the building's open for contractors to come visit and look and see what the lay of the land is. We'll have a proposal that outlines the scope of the work, and then we'll get our proposals.
Sounds great. Thanks for all your work.
Yeah, this is a great
Fabulous.
solution.
Peter, I have a question about what the actual cost to the town's gonna be. I understood you say there's like a $5,000 increase in the additional proposal, and then there's gonna be carrying costs if we borrow money. And then there are gonna be more expenses.
Well, we don't, at this point, until we get a bid, we don't really know if we have a proposal from Gates Engineering in Turner's Falls for the project. They will more than likely bid the project, but we don't know. When you get above a contract over $50,000, the contractor needs to post a 5% deposit on the bid. And he also needs to post a 50% performance bond, and I don't know what the cost of those are, the bond. So that'll be an added cost that's not in the proposal we have. The proposal that we got had us about $4,000 over, compared to where we were when we applied for the grant. So I don't know exactly. So I came up with, my numbers total $47,000, and I rounded it up to 50 as a number that we should have access to, with the idea we probably won't get that. And out of that, we're gonna get back $44,000, so that right now, the amount that I'm suggesting that could potentially be a town expense would be around $7,000 at the upper end as the final cost. And if we can appropriate the money, if we have the money in free cash and we can appropriate it and hold it there, we can give it back to free cash when we're done. And then we don't have to have any carrying costs to borrow.
When are you gonna need answers for the availability of money?
Well, we're gonna need to have the money available in order to award the contract. So once we go out to bid, it'll be like a 4-week process, for the bids. So I would say within 4 weeks of when we, go out to bid, and if there's something preventing us from having a special town meeting, we should tie the bid schedule to when we think we can have that special town meeting.
Well, we have other stuff eventually to put on a special town meeting, we're just waiting to do it all at once.
Right, right, but what Paula was telling me is that right now, she can't, until the tax rate's certified, she can't project what we have for free cash, so
Right.
that's the next step. So I don't know when that's gonna happen,
I don't know.
and is that's a question maybe for the assessors?
Yeah.
He asked if I would put him on the December 10th meeting.
Ted?
So like-
Shannon, what did you
yeah.
say? I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, Ted asked, if I would put him on the December 10th select board meeting.
So that will be the hearing
I
for,
think so,
okay.
yeah.
I will be,
Okay, so maybe after the 10th, we'll know better where we are.
I'm sure.
All right, I'm just trying to keep you ahead of the curve as opposed to behind the 8 ball.
As long as you're the cue ball shooting the 8 ball in, you're all set.
Last I heard from Paula, they were very close to, getting all the
Okay,
stuff aligned.
anyway, that's as much as I can tell you at this point.
That's fine. When things come into focus, I think you can come to the finance committee.
Any other questions? On to the ARPA funds discussion.
Okay, well, I had that, I talked to Paul about it, I got all the current updated numbers, and I left that piece of paper on my table. Because I was worrying about the Broom Street contract, but I remember it pretty well. I mean, basically, other than a few crumbs on the floor, the entire $12,500 of Plainfield pond money was available for reallocation. We promised Sandy at the last meeting that we would give her $3,500, and I just gave Shannon an $1,800 invoice or contract for part of that $3,500. And I think you said you had spent some money already too, yes? No?
No.
No, okay. So we'll just need another, 1,000. To 1,500, something like that, whatever. We'll just need a little more money to top it off, to meet the criteria by December 31st. And that would leave $9,000 available for us to reallocate. And I believe that the Village Green project was asking originally, help me out here, Peter, for
12.
12,500, and you got 8.
Got 8.
So you were hoping to get another 4 or 5.
Well, I don't need the full amount.
Okay.
So this, where we are with the Village Green is that, we used last year's planning board, expense account to bridge the funding gap to be
Yeah.
able to go ahead with the project. And, over the course, this project started in, November of 2023, when we had the wetlands specialist about flagging the wetlands, and then over the winter months, Rich Roberge came out and did the property survey. And his survey estimate was $3,600, and he ended up wanting to bill me for $5,400, and I negotiated it to a 50-50 split of $4,500. So we were $900 over on that. And then I had the $8,000 for the engineering, of which I've spent all the $700 right now.
Okay.
And that's all paid for, complete. The planning board in its current fiscal year has $3,300 left in its expense account. And we need an additional $2,500 in engineering to complete the project. So it's possible that we could use our planning board expense to cover it and not wire ARPA funds. but that would give us no expenses for anything else. We had hoped to be able to perhaps use a circuit writer or somebody to help us with this master plan report that we're gonna have to draft. But we have no idea what that costs or when, and that would all be out of planning board expense anyway, so.
I think we should probably pay for the, what did you say was an additional 2,500 or
2,500,
4,500?
25.
25. I think we should probably pay for, I would propose that we pay for that out of the ARPA. So if we were at 9 and that takes it down to 6,500 that's left. 9, 8, 7, yeah, 6,500
Can I ask a
in
question?
ARPA that we have left. And then,
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Kristen, sure.
Peter, or can someone please clarify if there is an actual invoice or a contract or something that helps to account for that $2,500? Because that's what's required by December 31st.
Yeah, I've got a letter from the engineer that outlines the work needed to complete the project from the
And-
original
and price,
And the price.
and the price.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
so, I think that maybe since we've gone this far into it and spent so much already, we ought to finish that, at least get to the completion of the engineering phase. Because before anything else could move forward, it would have to be taken to town meeting anyway, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, well, once we have this report in hand, we can pursue grant funding because we have a cost estimate for the actual project cost. And of course, we're gonna have a public hearing as part of this process to present it, to have feedback from town. And if we were gonna proceed, we definitely would have to do it with a town meeting vote.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next step is really, so we're in the process of sort of tying the bow around the package. We're gonna come to the town, have a meeting to explain and show what we've come up with. And then the next steps we can decide upon when we decide to implement.
But there, what I'm saying is that there remain $6,500 of the ARPA funds that are not yet allocated with documentation that remains to be taken care of.
Right.
Or spent, because we don't want to give it back to the government. So I would
Fire trucks.
propose that we use that to apply that to the fire truck note whenever the fire truck shows up. But we presume it's going to be here before December 31st. She said hesitantly, hopefully,
What if it's not though? You still don't wanna leave that $6,000 on the table.
but I think the note will have
I
been
don't
signed.
think it matters that,
It doesn't have to be.
it doesn't
actually in
have to
their
be
hands.
actually spent. It has to be just,
Allocated to it.
there needs to be, some real concrete place that the money can go to. And the fire truck is a definite. The other concrete place that could be considered is a year's subscription for the website. Another year in addition to what we're allocated already.
And
We're
how much is that a year
allocated 2
again?
years. It's, I think it's gonna go up to about 5,000.
I think the question again, sorry, I don't know how to let y'all know. Dalila Madison, Almquist Summit. I think the question again, Polly, is do you have the paperwork that says this is the cost for the next year?
Right, I would have to go to Civic Plus and get them to put that in writing.
I think it's in the
An
contract,
invoice.
isn't it?
I
It says
think
that thereafter
truck
it'll
will be
increase
done
by
with
5% a year.
Yeah, I think it says something like that.
It's in the original contract that after the initial bill,
We have an annual fee every year for the website.
yeah,
Well,
and
And
that's.
then I think the other question is, are we certain that Civic Plus is our definite provider for the next 3 years? Or would it be helpful to, put this towards the fire truck and come back to that?
I say
I
we put
don't
those
know.
fire trucks.
Civic Plus, yeah, is gonna be our provider for several more years. I mean,
Well,
probably,
that we hope.
we're not gonna be changing at this point.
Who's gonna volunteer to build a new website with a different vendor?
Yeah, we can't,
Times change every day. Never know.
afford to change.
The future is unknown.
It is.
So that's just an option.
Well, do we have to decide today or do we have to decide December tenth?
We keep pushing this.
I know we do.
Let's just get it over with.
I move that we put the remaining known balance of $6,500 towards the fire truck note as soon as it is signed and funded and closed. Just reduce that by a little bit.
I second,
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Sandy.
Yes, I have a question for Delula, Sandy from Miranda from Bow Street. Did I hear you say that you can have an invoice? You don't actually need a contract, so could I get an invoice and not have to pay it until after?
yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
So if I
Yes.
have an invoice for everything I want from that particular place,
yes,
then I don't have to actually go get this stuff and.
no, you don't have to have the whatever the product or service is in.
I just wasn't sure if I had to have a paid invoice.
No, it doesn't have to be paid. You have to have an invoice so that there is, I mean, to the extent that an invoice or a bill of sale is like a contract.
Okay,
In that you have said, I want this and I'm going to pay you this much money
Right.
and they're getting you the stuff. You don't have to have paid it. You just have to be able to document the amount. So it's not a fuzzy amount, it's a hard amount.
right, no, that's fine, it's just,
Peter, do you need to do a similar motion for the appropriation of the funds for the,
2,500
for
for
the
the,
village green and also for the rec committee?
well, I think we did the rec committee the last select board meeting, so that one's done, but we probably do. I move that we allocate $2,500 to the Village Green project to complete the engineering study so that that can take the next step of being considered by the town at a public meeting and on it at a town meeting.
I second that,
All in favor?
I,
Thank you, Peter.
Any other questions? One more favorite, Bill from KP Law. For the amount of $1,316.59.
what was that for?
A whole bunch of
It's
little
a long
stuff.
thing, a long list of things.
It's just a bunch of little,
Every time we
back and
call, it
forth,
costs
phone
us
calls.
Mhm.
I move we pay the KP Law bill in the amount of $1,316.59.
And I second it,
All in favor?
does that, a lot of that have to do around with the brown things?
I suspect it did.
Yeah, some of it,
Mhm.
but. Yeah, the majority of it.
Yeah, because we went back and forth a couple of times, so.
that's what case that was.
There was an outstanding lawsuit, there was a Freedom of Information Act request had been filed against the town for all of the records surrounding
The complaints for the police, against the
yeah,
police
against the
chief.
police chief. And because there is an outstanding legal action against the town for that. Not freedom of information. Freedom of information is separate from the lawsuit that was filed. And because the lawsuit has not been settled, the Department of Records, that's one of the reasons that you can withhold the public records. The select board does not have to make executive session minutes and notes public. If there is an outstanding legal action against the town. And so she did an end run, went to the Secretary of State and said we were violating the public records law. We had to talk to their lawyers a bunch of times and we talked to our lawyers and our lawyer said, no, this is why this is the case. And she wrote a very legal letter citing all of the different MGL, blah, 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 blah. And, the woman still wanted to appeal again, and I think that the Department of Records, the Secretary of State basically came down on, we don't get ahead of the courts. We're gonna wait for the court.
That was the actual determination, because I tried to look it up and wasn't able to access it.
That was the letter that she wrote back to Melissa.
Mhm.
And I asked the woman when we got that letter, it was in our packet a couple of weeks ago or so. And I called Janelle Austin, the lawyer at KP Law that I'd been working with on that, and I said, does this mean we don't have to do anything more right now? And she said, yeah, that's what it means. You know, it hasn't gone away altogether,
Mhm.
but it means that we are not, the ball is not in our court at this point, so to speak. Put it in tennis terms, I guess.
Any other questions?
I move that we adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Hi. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Be safe out there.
Happy Thanksgiving, people.
Bye.
Did you guys sign all those?